If you've ever lost weight and gained it back, then you gotta watch this video. Everyone talks about the sexy ways to lose weight. You got the fasting, you got the keto, you got the South Beach diet, you got the raw vegan diet, you got all the strategies to lose weight, but no one talks about what happens after you lost the weight. The problem that most humans have is not a weight loss problem because almost everyone manages to lose weight. The problem is what happens after, because most people gain the weight back. And no one talks about what to do after because it is not sexy. It's not cool. It's not like you fast and you don't eat for 16 hours and then you eat in 8 hours. It's like, what do you do after you lost the weight to make sure you never gain it back? It is completely pointless for you to lose 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 20 pounds, and then you fast forward a couple months later after you've lost the weight and you gained it all back. And this is the biggest issue when it comes to weight loss. The problem is keeping your weight off. It's not losing the weight. So today we're going to talk about what to do after you've lost the weight to make sure you never gain it back again. And this is when the maintenance phase comes in. Our bodies are adaptations machine. Think about when we were caveman nomads. If you were on a caloric deficit, which you need to be in a caloric deficit for you to lose weight, that meant that you were in danger of dying because back then we didn't have food readily available. So our bodies had to adapt to fewer calories to survive. And this is exactly what happens right now. If you're in a caloric deficit for a long period of time, your body adapts to less calories. Your metabolism slows down, and then little by little, you start using less energy in your day-to-day. So if you start your caloric deficit, let's say at 2,000 calories, maybe in like 6 to 8 weeks, those 2,000 calories no longer get you in a deficit. And then you need to go lower in calories or you need to increase your activity levels or both. So let's say you go from 2,000 to 1,600 to keep on losing weight. Then once you're at 1,600, your body is gonna adapt again and it's gonna become harder to lose weight. And there's gonna be a point where you're not gonna be able to sustain the lower calories. You're not gonna be able to go lower. You're not gonna be able to do more activity. And then that's when the problem happens because you cannot go lower, you're not losing weight, and then you just slip once, you slip twice, you slip 3 times, and suddenly you're no longer dieting, and suddenly you're gaining weight back, and suddenly you cannot control yourself and you're eating like a maniac. And then you find yourself a couple weeks later with all the weight that you lost back on. So not only your body, your metabolism adapts to the lower calories, but it's also really psychologically hard to stick to a calorie deficit for a long period of time because you're gonna have to avoid foods that you typically eat. You're gonna have to be hungry. At some point, you're gonna feel hunger and you're gonna have to put up with the hunger. And over time, the psychological processes are really hard. They create a lot of stress. And then there's gonna be a point where you're not gonna wanna do it anymore. You're gonna say, screw this, I'm no longer care about dieting, I'm gonna go eat, I deserve it. And then the problem happens. You eat uncontrollably, you gain the weight back. And then you find yourself back in step 1, or even worse, you gain more weight back than you had when you started. So in order to prevent this from happening, we gotta create very clear parameters for what a weight loss phase is gonna be like. For example, we wanna establish the duration. Typically, it's gonna be 8 to 16 weeks. For almost every person, 16 weeks seems to be like the top end. After 16 weeks, it becomes really hard to sustain a calorie deficit properly. Most people work well between 10 and 12. So somewhere between 8 to 16 weeks. Then we're gonna have a plan of what we're gonna do after the phase. So let's say we end the phase at a certain amount of calories. What are we gonna do after? After, we're gonna enter maintenance. Maintenance means you're gonna maintain. You're gonna increase the amount of calories you're eating. Your metabolism is gonna go back to normality because you're gonna be eating more food. Your body's gonna adapt to more food. You're gonna have more energy. You're gonna feel great. And the only goal in a maintenance phase is to maintain your body weight. That's why it's not sexy, and that's why most people don't talk about it, because the only goal is maintaining. So if you finish your weight loss phase at 200 pounds, then you want to finish your maintenance phase at 200, maybe 203, 204, no more than that. And that's going to leave you in a really good place to start another diet because you're no longer going to have all those negative adaptations that happen from being in a caloric deficit. The second thing that's important when it comes to maintenance is establishing the duration of a maintenance phase. Most people need at least the same time that they were dieting for in maintenance to recover psychologically and physically. And I've seen cases where people need a long time. I've had clients that dieted for 4 months, they lost a lot of weight, and they required a year of maintenance to feel ready to diet again. Now, when do you know you're gonna be ready to diet again? You're gonna feel excited to diet. You're gonna feel excited to embark on another fat loss phase. You're gonna be like, I cannot wait to reduce my calories. I cannot wait to do this again. And you're gonna have no doubt in your mind about the next fat loss phase. If you try to do a fat loss phase too early and you find yourself snacking, not being able to adhere to the calories, then that's an indicator that you need longer in maintenance. I've experienced this myself. I've had phases that I wanted to diet, that I wanted to lose fat, and I just couldn't adhere to the calories. I found myself snacking on peanut butter, making up excuses about why I wasn't adhering to the calories that my coach gave me. When I had a conversation with my coach, he was like, man, just do maintenance. You need maintenance. You need to feel excited to do this. You need to feel ready. When you feel like that, it is very easy to stick to low calories. But if you start too soon, then you're gonna find yourself in a cycle that you're not adhering to the calories, you're not losing weight, you're trying, you feel like crap. So instead of just falling into this, just maintain. If you maintain for a year and you don't gain the weight back, that's a huge win. Because in a year, you're gonna have whatever, 20, 30, 40 pounds less than when you started. And then you can diet again and lose the rest of the weight. So if you're right now in a fat loss phase, think about what you're gonna do after. Think about how your maintenance is gonna look like. If you don't have a plan post fat loss phase, you're probably gonna find yourself in trouble because you need a plan, you need maintenance. And everyone wants to skip maintenance. But if you skip maintenance, you're gonna set yourself to lose in the long term. Do not skip the maintenance phase. It is one of the most important phases in weight loss because you're gonna learn how to live your normal life and maintain your new body. So that's the maintenance phase. If you need some help planning this out, if you want someone to plan out your fat loss phases, your maintenance phases, and tell you exactly what to do, you can check out the description. I have a link for coaching. And I also have a couple more links for my book where I teach you exactly how to do this on your own. You have everything written down, all the guidelines of how to embark on a fat loss phase and what to do after. That's it for today. Julian here, signing off.